Hello everybody. This is a video to just give you, it's a short video to give you a few tips on writing the written facilities plan. And there are some materials for you that are already posted on the Canvas site. So right now I'm in modules on the Canvas site, and I zip down all the way down to where it says project. And there's a whole bunch of stuff there, TR16, etc. And then you see the four things at the bottom that I want you to focus on. One of them is guidelines for the written report. One of them is the facilities guidance document. Another one is the Massachusetts facilities planning, and then a sample. So I'm going to start with the written resources, the written guidelines. These are just pretty much straight out of what was on your syllabus. All of this is pretty straightforward, and we'll just open this up here. It is a very short Word document to just remind you of the actual needs for, I don't know why this is taking so long. Here we go. All right. So reports should be submitted in 2 3-ring binders, one for the written and one for the appendices. Instead of submitting a CD, it's just as easy to submit a thumb drive. So we need that thumb drive. So I'll change this on here, a thumb drive. I don't know why that wasn't changed. I changed it before. But anyway, a thumb drive, and we will run that through a plagiarism check. Now, Missy and Taylor may end up changing that because there may be a new way to do that plagiarism check with Canvas. So that may be subject to change. There may be a place you can upload it right on the Blackboard site. And then remember, the audience here for this report is a technical report. It's written for an engineer. It should be double-spaced in Times New Roman 12-point font, 1-inch margins, paginated at center bottom. And here's the key thing. The author's name should be on each section, whether that is the section for whether that's the section for the written report or the section for the appendices. We need to know who did what. That's very, very, very important. So please, please be sure that your name is on the sections that you have written. Okay? If somebody had to edit that section, they should put their name there too. Okay, and appendices, we want everything in there. So phone logs, etc., quotes that you may have gotten, any kind of calculations that you've done, all of that stuff. And then for spreadsheets, we need sample calculations. Handwritten is okay. These things don't have to be typed up, etc. The one thing I want to note is that drawings of the site should be in the body of the report, of the plan, not the appendices. So anything that you have that shows your site layout before and after, or anything like that, that all should be in the body of the report, not in the appendices. Okay, because that's stuff you're going to be referring to. So that should be helpful for you, hopefully, in your, I'll just save this here and reload it, for you in your write-ups. Okay, but none of that with respect to the typing or the margins or anything is different. Again, I just want to emphasize this is not written for a public meeting. This is written for an engineer. So this is where your technical stuff can be in. I also want you to know that we are posting a little document that is called Words and Expressions to Avoid. Read through this. We want to have you be very straightforward, not wordy, cut out words. Examples here are a number of. So if you say a number of things were considered, you can say some things were considered. Absolutely essential. What does that mean? Just say essential. So this is a good little example of things to avoid in your writing, okay? And you'll have that available to you. I know all of you have taken technical writing, so hopefully that will not be too bad. Okay, a couple of things that I want to point out in the documents that are there. This guidance document for preparing a facilities plan is really your baseline document. Even though it was written in 1975 and hasn't been revised since, it's still the main document that EPA uses. So this is where you want to focus. And you'll notice that in the facility plan, it starts right there with the different steps, and those are the steps that you're going to use. All right, so I'm going to just highlight it here using this is the table of contents, but you can read the things. So the first part you're really going to focus on, and I do want to write down some other things for you so that you can have this. So the first part that you want to focus on is that there should be a nice cover page. This should have the name of the group, the name that this is a facilities plan for the town of upgrade for the town of Exeter, New Hampshire's wastewater treatment plant, etc. It should have a photograph on it that is credited, and etc. The best thing to do is put that on your 3-ring binder. Actually, there's usually a little kind of a clear plastic area that you can put that, and then have it also on the cover page inside. The next thing you want to have is a letter of transmittal, so that comes along with the plan. Okay, that's written by the PMs. Then you want to have a table of contents, and I kind of went over this the first lecture but on the project, but I'll just reiterate it. And then a list of tables and figures. Okay? And then you want to have your executive summary. This is where you write this, the last thing actually, and this summarizes all. It's like a little mini report. It should be about 5 pages long with all the sections in it just condensed so that some people can read that. It can be as long as 10 pages, but my guess is yours will be about 5 pages. Okay? Just cut and paste sections out of the rest of the report. All right, and then you have the different chapters that I already covered in that first lecture, but I'm going to go over that now using the facilities plan here. Okay, so the first thing you're going to have is an introduction. And that so you don't really need to, whoops, excuse me, I need to be able to put tools on here. You don't need these, first steps. You're going to start here after the executive summary with introduction. So in that introduction, you're going to talk about the existing conditions that exist now. You're going to talk about existing flows and loads, infiltration, inflow, performance of the existing system, and that is all cut and paste from the report, the first report that you got. Okay, that's with all the details in it, and all you have to do is reference that as Exeter, New Hampshire, and then the date that you got it, 2017. And that you can just reference as the facilities packet. Okay? Then you want the next section to be future situation. Okay? This is the planning period, any demographics, etc. All right? And this, again, is from the packet. Just cut and paste it. You may need some realignment of it from the way it was in the packet that you got it, but that's where you're setting up the future situation. Okay? When you cut and paste and acknowledge, please highlight that in yellow. Okay? Highlight it in yellow so that we easily know what's cut and pasted. Okay? And then when we do the plagiarism check, we can actually negate those parts so that that doesn't come up as plagiarism. Okay, now the next chapter, the next section is to develop and evaluate alternatives. This is where you consider all of these things and these impacts. This is really where you're thinking about your factors here. So it's not just environmental impacts, it's the impacts of the nitrogen, etc. And I think some of you are calling that environmental impacts, and some of you are calling that, then you have other factors besides environmental impacts. So that's where you're talking about basically your factors, including your environmental factors. Okay? And these are just factors that EPA is talking about. You don't have to talk about all of those factors. Okay? You can talk about the key factors that you used here. Okay? And then what you want to do here is for each section, you want to so I would put the factors first. So I would actually call that the factors. I would call the factors, that's going to be here. And then you're going to look at the alternatives. And this is where you want your tables to look at the different alternatives with the weighting, etc. that some of you did. They should definitely be in here. So you've got your different systems for primary or grid or whatever you considered, and then your factors. Or you can put your factors here and weight, and you can put your treatment options down here. Whichever way you want to align it, just be consistent. Oops. All right. Okay. Now, the next section is your actual recommendations. This is where you're making your recommendations for your plan. And you can talk a little bit about the selection process, but I would simply, you've done this usually in the section before and clearly delineated, so what you want to do is jump here to the preliminary design and the arrangements for implementation. Now, so this is basically looking at the recommendations. Then what I would do here for this next section is this will go to the end. Public participation will go near the end. Evaluation of costs. This is, you don't have to worry about sunken costs or present worth. You can just do your regular costing. Okay, this is after you do your recommendation of a plan. All right. These things you've already done. Plan selection we've already talked about, and then what you want to do here in this section after costs is do your actual implementation, your schedule. So after you do your costs, you want to do your schedule. Now you can reverse that if you want, all right? And then what you're going to do after your implementation and your schedule, this schedule might include trucking, considerations, etc., etc. And again, it's fine if you want to do costs after implementation. It's just usually you do them before because they have heavily factored into your into the plan. But you can do them. You can do them if you, for instance, somehow the costs are set because of the scheduling. You may want to do that afterwards. It's fine with whichever way you do it. Okay, and then you want to talk about public participation and put that there. Now, the one other thing that's not covered here in this costing is the financing, and this is where, so you'll put your finance here, your financing recommendations with the costing, okay? So costing will include financing as a subsection, so you can call it costing and financing, all right? Now, one thing several people have asked me is where does the RFP stuff go? The RFP stuff should certainly go in the executive summary, okay? And the RFP goals should go right here in the section for development of alternatives. Okay, so what you were asked to do, and that should definitely go in the executive summary. Some people have asked if they could start with the RFP, and if you want to, if you like that better, you could use the RFP kind of as a basis for your the beginning of your introduction here. Okay, so the RFP can go as this introduction part where you clearly delineate your goals. Some of you may want to reiterate your RFP down here in the evaluation of alternatives because some of that is specifically delineated. Okay? All right, I think that's that for the content of the report. Okay? You don't have to have any of this. That will be in your scheduling. And the appendices, you obviously, the references go in the appendix. These, if you want to, you can put these in the end. These can go after the written report if you want to. They can go in either place after the written report. Actually, let's do that. Let's put the appendices not in the references. Let's put them at the end of the written report so that I can see them. Okay, then Appendix A can be any documents that you deem important to be added. This could be something like the AOC, the NPDES, etc., etc. Okay? You're not going to have a lot of these appendices here. You're going to have appendices on your different sections, on your costing, on your scheduling, etc. Are going to be in there. So it's clear how you did your scheduling, your costing, all your A2 tables should be there for costs, scheduling, any also, you may have some costs from RS means. What the TAs are going to be looking for when they do this is and grade it is that we can follow the materials that you use, the quotes, etc., for each section. And you probably want to break it out by section. We will also give you the grading rubrics so you can see those grading rubrics and what we're going to be looking for. Those will be posted right after class today. Okay. I think That's covered that document pretty well. And again, you can look through here if you want to, and in this facilities plan, and get some guidance as to what's in the introduction, etc. Okay, so that's that one. All right. So the next document that I have up here in the PDFs is, well, let me go to the other one, excuse me, is the Massachusetts guidance document. This has a lot more details in it. It's a good thing to scoot through in case you have any questions. It's very, very, very similar to the EPA one. And it's got really the exact same stuff in it, but sometimes people like reading it a little bit better. And you'll notice here, the one thing I like about this document is that, oops, it does have at the end of it a little bit better guidelines for the recommended plan. Where the implementation and the financing plan, etc., are laid out. The costs should go right in here, okay? And then public participation at the end with references, okay? So that's available for you too. And then I've put on reserve a copy of, we've put on Canvas this facilities document for the town of Bellingham, so you can see kind of what it's like. This is an upgrade for them that was done, and you can see it gives you a really nice layout. Now, some of this stuff does not apply to you, but you'll notice the introduction has a lot of information in it, and then you can see this really follows that EPA document, and you can see how they walk through all of the different sections with facilities and screening, etc., SCADA, and then implementation, where they have, evaluation of criteria, where they look at the different alternatives. You can see here disinfection, etc., alternatives, and then they do the actual evaluation of biosolids, which they have a separate chapter for, and then they look at support facilities, etc. So that's just, again, another way of doing it. And I thought it would be helpful to have a document like that on reserve, and that Bellingham one is quite nice. Okay. All right, let me make sure my computer's on. Yep. Okay. The only other thing I want to do is make a few notes for you so that you are aware of some of our criteria. If you have spelling errors will be -1 point each. So don't have spelling errors. You don't want to have errors with grammar either. Grammatical errors, -1 point each. So please proofread, proofread, proofread. Be sure you're consistent with your tenses, etc. I suggest looking at this report and having multiple people read it. Okay, I think that that's almost everything that I wanted to say here. Let's see, I've just found a tick on my desk, which seems to be, ticks are everywhere these days. So, this is horrible. Anyway, I think that's pretty much everything I want you to know. Do not use contractions, no contractions in the report, in a technical report. All of this is stuff that you've gone over in 502. And again, we don't want your opinions on this. We feel, we believe, any of that stuff. You need to just be stating flat out what you're recommending. Not we recommend or it is recommended or anything like that. You can just say a vortex grid system is recommended because X, Y, and Z. All right? Just be straight out. You don't say it is recommended that a vortex grid system be used. Start with a vortex grid system is recommended, period. Okay? Just be straightforward and cut out the extra words. We don't want any opinions. We don't need we felt, we, any of that stuff. Just state the facts and go on. Okay? One other thing that there are certain words that are key words. This is its, possessive. Its name was blah, blah, blah. This is possessive. And you should not be using any contractions, but this is it is. It's, it is. Okay? Write out it is. Don't confuse those two. Also, another thing, well, that's all from 502, so I don't need to reiterate some of this stuff. So thank you very much. I hope this has been helpful for you. And it's almost over, so take care.